Hey, how's it going? John from Branson Cerakote here. We're going to do a video today that was requested by one of our viewers, and it's going to be an AR-15 single color project. We've already got the carcass degreased, sanded, and disassembled, ready to go, and we're going to coat it in zombie green H168 today. So what I'm going to do is going to go ahead and get the zombie green mixed up. We'll get the parts hung here in the booth, and we'll come back on camera and start spraying. All right, our surfaces are all prepped and we're ready to go. We've got our zombie green mixed up and in the gun. I'm just going to cover a few things that, since the zombie green is one of those colors from Cerakote that's really harsh when you're spraying it, I'm going to have to do all the spraying with the booth going, so I won't really be able to talk on camera. But so I'll go over a few things that I'm going to be doing before we actually get the booth cranked. When you've got areas, the inside of the receivers, upper and lower, things like that, all you really want to do with that to get coating down in there is dial your cone all the way down to 0 and then adjust your flow so you don't have too much or too little. And then all you're going to do, and I'll show this, but I just won't be able to talk and explain it while I'm doing it, is just kind of go at an angle and just tap the trigger. And you're just going to basically just get that, and that'll give you enough coating down in there to give you a protective layer, but it's not going to be a thick layer, so that when you go to drop your trigger group and everything back down in here, you won't have tolerance issues. Same thing with inside the mag well. You want to just hit that enough to change the color and give a little bit of a protective layer, but not enough that where your magazines won't fall out. Same thing with your upper. You want to do that, kind of do the same thing, especially here where your barrel mates up with the receiver. And then also down in the track where the charging handle goes. Don't forget the inside where the forward assist goes. And another place you usually, you'll normally have some problems if you're not careful are these areas inside where the dust cover attaches. Will sometimes you'll miss those, and they'll be really light. So you just need to pay real close attention to doing those and getting a good angle in there on both sides of that to make sure you get it all. So it's really about it on the upper. A lot of these smaller pieces I hung on magnets. There's no real easy way to wire these where you don't end up with that line around it, and you'll end up with a ridge from the wire. So I just pop these on magnets. You'll spray them, put them in the oven for 8 minutes till they're tack free, take them out, flip them to the other side, and then spray the area that the magnet was covering, and then just hard bake it from there. And that really takes care of that kind of hanging issue. The only thing to be really careful with these magnets, and it's common sense, they're magnets. You don't want to get these too close to anything on your air cure rack or in the oven, or they'll snap together and then you'll ruin your finish. So you've just got to be really careful with anything that you hang on magnets, but that's a really good trick to help you with those. Buffer tubes, I do not spray the inside of these, and I had a question not too long ago about spraying micro slick in there. I've never had an issue with these, not spraying anything in there. You're going to get some coating in there. There's no way really around that. But as far as purposefully getting down in there, dialing the cone down and getting coating in there, there's really just no need for it. And as far as the micro slick goes, I've never tried it, never really seen a need to do it. Again, on these buffer tubes, you need to make sure you get in these areas along these tracks and get down in all these little holes. It's just being really meticulous and really careful of going at different angles and moving it around. Don't be afraid to grab this thing, take it off the hook and grab it by the threaded area that is not going to matter anyway, and move it around so that you can spray it. Then put it back on the hook, which these C hooks are really good for buffer tubes. You can hang it in the back, and then just spray all the way around the threads that you were holding on to. Other than that, the only other part that people send us questions on are quad rails, and I'll show you on camera, but the quad rail, the sides and everything itself are pretty straightforward, just nice even strokes. But when you're ready to do the actual slots on the quad rail, 45-degree angle up, 45-degree angle down, and normally that will coat that really well. If you're worried about whether or not you got these done, a good enough coat on these, pop them in the oven for the 8 to 10 minutes, get them tack free, take them out in the sunlight. I do it all the time, and just turn them over and take a really good look at them. If you see an area that needs a little extra, or that you've got one of these little grooves in here that's not quite where you need it, bring it back in. Leave the coating in your gun and just tap it in there and get a little bit of coating in there. It's not a big deal. I think that's about all I need to cover as far as before we get going type of things. So we'll fire up the booth and start spraying, and I'll try and get as much of this on camera as I possibly can. If there's something I didn't quite cover or something that you didn't quite see, please feel free to leave me a comment down at the bottom of the video, and I will make sure I answer that for you. This will probably be it for talking on camera. We'll have some stills of everything at the very end to show you, what everything looks like solid coated, solid color coded. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and see us on our website, bransonCerakote.com, for all your stencil needs. Have a great day.